Hello. Spent the past few days trying several different builds for the Guardian. I'm trying to explore everything the class has to offer, and I've been liking this build that I'm using here quite a bit. It was actually originally, well, to my knowledge anyways, developed by Pyrus from IQ, and I've tweaked it a bit. We've worked on it together for a while now, and I think it's up to a place where it's pretty solid, like not many changes to be done, maybe a few like personal touches you can put in, but it's pretty strong. So the idea for this build is that it's going to hold a point, so you always want to be either in a neutral point preventing the enemy from capturing or defending one of your team's points. Never try to assault with this build because it doesn't do very much damage. As you can see, I only have 8% crit chance, very low power. That's not the focus of the build. The focus is to survive as long as possible and do some damage from people attacking you. So you don't want to be in there with a group if possible. You want to be the only target so that when they focus you, they're going to take a lot of damage, and I'll show you how in just a second. So first let me show you the weapon sets. I'm using a sword and focus set for my main. It's also possible to use a greatsword instead for this weapon slot. I like the sword because this combo anyways, it's going to have 2 blinds and a triple block, and this regen from Ray of Judgment actually does matter, and I'll show you why the regen is good later. Finally, Zealous Defense is pretty useful if you're having a ranged guy attacking you. I like this combo so much, I try to put it in every build that I make for a Guardian. And then for my second weapon set, I have a Mace and Shield combo. Now, the Shield is one of the strongest offhands the Guardian has. This bounce with the Shield of Absorption is really strong. It's a little finicky. Sometimes it doesn't work. I haven't figured that out yet, but I like it still. And once you activate it, you have a second use that heals. And every little bit of healing counts when you're trying to survive, right? So we also have Protection. This is, I mean, a skill you want to be using pretty often, I think. This one here I don't like very much. It seems like you always get attacked, and it's just kind of a waste. I tend not to use this at all, pretty much. Then we have a Symbol of Faith, which drops down a whole bunch of stacks of regen. This is very strong. You should be using this whenever you can. It's going to heal you. It does some damage to the enemy. Stacks of regen. Again, regen is important for this build. And finally, on your main swing with the mace, every third swing, as you can see, Faithful Strike gives you healing. So if you're trying to just stall and survive, then this is pretty good. I swap between these two sets pretty frequently because my weapon runes, I have energy on both the shield and the focus. And if you watch my guide to the weapon sigils video, you'll understand that I don't use procs on these on the main hand weapon. I'm using Sigil of Superior Life purely because the plus damage is not very interesting to me. And actually this does add up. If you manage to get 25 stacks of here, which is killing 5 people without dying, and again it's really hard to kill this guy, so your dodge heal actually goes up from 1200 to 1500, and I think the regen goes up about 15% as well. Like, it's a rather strong effect to have an extra 250 healing. Makes it even harder to kill. Alright, so let's look at the traits. The main combo that I'm doing here is that I have 3 shouts, and both of these break stun, while the other one gives me protection and regen. And every time I use a shout, I'm going to convert 1 condition to a boon on all my allies. Additionally, and here's the second part of the combo, whenever I apply a boon to an ally, it heals me. So it heals for 80, which is not that much. So this build, as well as holding points, it can also act as a support. You're going to be giving everyone 2 boons from these shouts here, right? It's protection, regen, and stability, retaliation. So say you hit 3 people, you know, yourself plus 2 others. That's 6 applications of boons, plus 1 boon for each condition that you remove. So up to 3, right, on yourself and the others. So you could apply up to 9 boons instantly, which heals you for almost 1,000. And you're going to be applying boons from several sources. Like I said, this symbol here applies actually 4 times regen for everyone inside it. You have the Inspired Virtue giving you boons when you cast these the virtues, and I don't know, there's virtues coming from everywhere. Play with the build, you'll see what I'm talking about. You have this constant stream of healing coming in. It's not a lot, but it's enough to keep you up, especially since it's still coming in while you're dodging around and running and all that stuff. The other combo that the build has is through blocking. Might of the Protector gives you might every time you block, and Defender's Flame burns the enemies every time you block. So we actually only have 2 sources of blocking, which is the Shelter. If you can manage to shelter while a warrior is doing Hunter Blades or a thief is doing Pistol Whip, it's devastating. Like, you get 10 to 15 stacks of might, and they get 15 seconds of burning. Like, it's pretty nasty, man. Not to mention that might gives you both power and condition damage, so when that burning actually ticks, you're going to have a higher amount of damage because of the high condition damage that you have. So we also have reducing the cooldowns on shouts, aegis giving retaliation. Now this is the second mechanism through which you do damage, which is you're going to get retaliation from Stand Your Ground, from Save Yourselves. You're going to get it from every time your aegis drops, that's 10 seconds of retal. You get retaliation that lasts longer, 25% from here plus 10% from the boon duration. So you pretty much have a constant coverage of retaliation. It depends how often you use the shouts. It's nice to be able to save say some of the stun breaks, right? So you don't want to be spamming these so much, but you know, it's pretty high uptime, I'd say. And so if you're trying to defend a point and the warrior and the thief are attacking you, chances are they cannot kill you unless you make a mistake. Like if you just run and use all your cooldowns perfectly, unless you're really good, I guess, you can actually survive long enough where they have to stop attacking you or die because of retaliation. Okay, so finally, we already have a little bit of condition removal. Every time you use a shout, you lose a condition. But I also chose to get Purity to lose a condition every 10 seconds. Sometimes you don't want to use a shout, or sometimes there's too many conditions, and a little bit of extra I felt like it was useful. And so that's about it. I mean, some tips and tricks for the build here. You might want to put down the Symbol of Faith right before you do the shield, so that you're forced to stand still, and standing still inside of a thing that's healing you is pretty useful. If you're under immense pressure and need to do something right away, pop your 3 virtues. This gives you 6. It gives you 6 boons immediately. Plus, you can use the renewed focus right after, making you invulnerable for 3 seconds, and then it restores them. As soon as a Virtue of Courage is restored, it automatically applies Aegis to you. So this comes back, and it's a pretty strong defensive moment for the build to do this. Try to space it so that this would fall in between 2 applications of Shelter, because this also gives you. I mean, remember, every time you get a boon, you get 80 healing. So if you do a Shelter and block 15 attacks, that's like almost 2,000 healing, right? Like it's a lot of healing there. It's not quite. It's like 1,200, right? But still, it's a lot of healing coming in, and you're going to be regenning a lot. I'm using the Duena set for my armor. I think this is a pretty strong set because this the 4 set, which gives you regen for 10 seconds. It's a small chance, but it's going to trigger. The cooldown is short. It has increased duration by 30% because of the armor set and your traits. So that's 13 seconds of regen. 13 seconds of regen is about 4,000 healing. So every 30 seconds you're getting 4,000 healing. On top of that, when you use your healing skill, you're going to get another, 6 6 seconds of regen for yourself and all nearby allies, so that's another 1500. And I have a very high healing with this set, 1263. So my dodge rolls, that's actually the main mechanic for healing. Dodge rolls heal for 1200, and if you're swapping your weapon sets often enough, you're going to be gaining a dodge every 10 seconds on top of the regen you already get on your endurance. So actually there's one more thing I wanted to talk about, and that's the amulet. I'm using a cleric's amulet with a knight's jewel, and I just wanted to point out that the knight's jewel is currently bugged, and it says it gives vitality, power, and precision, but it's actually giving vitality, toughness, and precision. That's pretty handy for the build, but I would have used the knight's jewel regardless. I just wanted to increase my health at any cost because it's way too low at 15k, but I mean I wanted to have the other things, so I couldn't help it. But and let me just prove that real quick. So here we have another cleric's amulet that has the same amount of power, and it has toughness. So if I swapped this for the new one, I should expect to keep the power the same and gain toughness. But actually, I gain power and toughness remains the same. So that's, I already reported it, maybe they'll fix it soon, but I still think this is the best jewel no matter what. So give it a try. If you like to hold points, this is probably one of the better builds out there, and let me know how it goes for you. I'll upload some videos of me playing this build at some point soon. I'm focusing on developing the builds for now, but I will be uploading lots of PvP videos later on, especially as higher quality competition comes around. Yeah, see you then.